The US Navy deployment in the Caribbean will not make a dent in drug trafficking. What it will do is weaken the strategic interests of the United States. Here's how. The narrative of the alleged Cartel de los Soles was used to justify a millionaire deployment of the US Navy in the Caribbean. But a study from the RAND Corporation shows how the militarization of counter-narcotics has a minimal or non-existent effect on the flow of cocaine to the United States. The use of the armed forces here not only raises costs and lowers efficiency, but it also erodes the much-needed trust of regional governments in their fight against a common enemy. In this case, it will be especially useless. The DEA itself said that 90% of maritime cocaine shipments move through the Pacific Ocean and the Western Caribbean. Meanwhile, the Navy is focusing on the Eastern Caribbean, accounting for only 8%. After the first month, this operation's cost could be in the range of $300 million, and we still don't know how many tons of cocaine have been seized, if any at all. Well, we know this is not about drug trafficking. Some neoconservatives in Washington, D.C. are pushing this cartel narrative to threaten Maduro with kinetic strikes and therefore push for regime change. But this is a plan without a clear strategy that could unleash conflict and instability for years to come. Various regional governments are already up in arms against the deployment and the alleged counter-narcotics narrative. In Colombia, Gustavo Petro was categorical. The Cartel de los Soles does not exist. In Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum denied there were any links between Maduro and the Sinaloa cartel. In Brazil, Lula warned that US troops in the Caribbean are a factor of tension incompatible with peace. A military operation would also jeopardize the repatriation flights of Venezuelan migrants from the United States, which are taking place twice a week. In addition, it would drive a larger exodus of Venezuelans, first to neighboring countries and then to the US southern border. Washington, D.C. could get caught up in nation building, the task of rebuilding Venezuela. We could see a scenario like Iraq and Afghanistan, where US troops are trapped fighting non-state actors for well over a decade. Recycling failed strategies does not strengthen the United States, it weakens its position. Meanwhile, rivals like China, Russia, and Iran are starting to occupy the power vacuum, closing energy and military agreements with Caracas. Militarization does not stop the flow of drugs, and it does not bring democracy. It only multiplies problems, and it damages the influence of the United States in the Western Hemisphere.